Okay, sir. Then.
Okay, boss. See you.
No? Need- Arriba, me acuerdo, Sandra.
Monica serves. No? Chico considers service.
सर नमस्कार, मेरी आपसे राय लेनी थी। आजकल वो डॉक्टर्स का हड़ताल वगैरह चल रही ना, तो मेरे बेटे ने भी एक एसोसिएशन हेलो हेलो हेलो
Hello, doctor, doctor.
हेलो
Yeah, Dr. Pradeep. The voice is not clear. Hello, Dr.
हाँ अब आ रही है आवाज
अब आ रही है.
अच्छा वो म्यूट था गलती
Yeah,
से
Dr.
हाँ बोल रहा हूँ बताइए हेलो हेलो हेलो
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
Am I
good morning.
audible?
Yeah,
Hi,
you are
morning,
very much
Venkatesh.
audible. Yeah, hi.
हेलो मेरी आवाज आ
Morning.
रही है आपको
हाँ,
जी
बिल्कुल
आ
डॉक्टर
रही है
साहब,
आवाज
आ
आ रही है सर
Thank
गुड
I was just checking.
Actually, what is happening is there is a live streaming going on through YouTube also. So we just closed that
अच्छा
volume there. That is why it was constantly repeating everything.
हम्म,
So Venkat, how's your preparation?
Yeah, it's fine. We have a Space Day celebration as well today. Today
I
is
know
also
that, yeah, it's an international
National
space day.
Space
Yeah,
Day. So
yeah. And I know it is such a precious thing for us that you could spare this time despite such a
no,
hectic.
it's my pleasure always.
Thank you
So
so
I'll
much.
just check if I could share my screen. Should I check?
Yeah, I need to make you host, no?
Okay.
Just try, just check whether it's happening or not.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, so not disable. I need to make him host, no? एक मिनट वेंकटेश कहाँ है सर ने भी ज्वाइन कर लिया हाँ वेंकट कहाँ दिख रहे हैं अगर हम उनको इनेबल कर वेंकट आपकी कौन सी आईडी है क्या आपके नाम से नहीं है
Just a second, let me check.
अमोघ नो अमोघ
Yeah, it must be Amog. I think it's my son's
Amog.
names.
अच्छा
Let me check.
अमोघ अमोघ का नाम कहाँ है इसमें
Is it Amog?
नाम सबसे पहले ऊपर थर्ड में मैम
ये
Let me
make
check.
host
हाँ
yeah Venkat now you can try
Yeah.
हेलो राजीव जी
Share
नमस्ते
screen.
हेलो नमस्ते नमस्ते शिखा जी कैसे हैं आप
बस ठीक ठाक हूँ थैंक यू फॉर ज्वाइनिंग विल बी जस्ट स्टार्टिंग 4 minutes
ओके
So you can see my screen now.
yeah I can see your screen
What about the presentation?
yeah I can see that
Okay. Okay.
yes
Fine.
yes
Thank you.
अब वापस खुलने के क्या करना है
Stop share.
बताओ आपको स्क्रीन शेयर करनी होगी ना
हाँ नहीं मुझे नहीं स्क्रीन शेयर करनी
कुछ नहीं वो फोटो डिस्कनेक्ट कर देगा
हाँ।
तो फाइल बंद कर देगा और डिस्कनेक्ट कर
ठीक
5 मिनट्स के बाद में आपका रिकॉर्डिंग
Yeah, ma'am, good morning, Deepen this side. Am I audible?
yes Deepen you are very much audible looking forward to your
Thank you, ma'am.
prayer yeah I think our sir has also joined. Vikram Singh sir has also joined. Sir has joined.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, good morning, Swati. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I'm privileged, to be a part of this, event.
And thank you so much. This is all of ours event and your event. So
Yes,
good you
ma'am.
joined. Yeah, you'll surely like because we have very enriching speeches and talks on this. So stay tuned.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
वेंकट सिंह को अपने
Sir.
still be recording. सर पे जब आपको होस्ट देना होगा ना तो आप परमिशन दे दीजिएगा अभी मैंने हटा दिया
ठीक है।
क्योंकि वन टाइम एक
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Namaskar. Good morning, Shikha ji. Heartiest congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you need to see our faces the moment you appear on the screen, and all of us so excited. Not only us here in Lucknow or in India, but then across the border. So
I can well understand the sumptuous takeaways in this get together, and it is so enriching, as you very rightly mentioned. Now, kickstart your program. I'll be on
Yes,
mute
sir.
and available to you, and switch off the camera. But the moment you require me, I'll switch on both. But I'm here.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
This is just the attendance. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Garg sir have also joined. Good morning,
Yes.
sir.
Good morning, Shika.
Yeah, so I think this is we missed you last year. You were not there, and that many people told me that where is sir? So I think all of us are very happy and excited that you're back to your
Yes,
event.
I'm also very happy. Same
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So sir, I'm going to now start because we are dot at 10:30. So good morning.
Sir, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So good morning, everyone. Swam Siddha and Indian Oil Corporation Limited jointly welcome all of you to the 16th annual event on environment awareness. We very fondly call this event as a pilgrimage, which we visit every year and contribute to the cause. But before I begin the proceeding of this event, we would pray God and we would submit this event to Almighty to bless, because it's because of Almighty's blessing a very small thing began into such a fantastic journey, very enriching journey. So for this prayer, I call my colleague and friend, Mr. Deependra Kumar, who is DGM and faculty member of NABARD, to kindly sing a very, soul-touching prayers. So over to you, Deependra.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. So I'll start. इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। हम चले नेक रास्ते पे, हमसे भूल कर भी कोई भूल होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। दूर अज्ञान के हो अंधेरे, तू हमें ज्ञान की रोशनी दे। दूर अज्ञान के हो अंधेरे, तू हमें ज्ञान की रोशनी दे। हर बुराई से बच के रहे हम, जितनी भी दे भली जिंदगी दे। बैर होना किसी का किसी से। थैंक यू वेरी मच। भावना मन में बदले की होना, हम चले नेक रास्ते पे हमसे, भूल कर भी कोई भूल होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। I pray to Almighty for blessings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dipendra. And your emotions are the emotion that touch all of us. And this is the strength of this emotion that has made this event a really spiritual exercise. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
To
you, ma'am.
all the participants who are from abroad, I wish to say that the prayer means invoking God, that Almighty just give us strength and fortify our courage. So this is how the prayer was. I remember a quote saying that memories are the key not to the past but to the future. And I was not able to understand the spirit of this quote until this event started. I lost my father in 2006 on 23rd August. So this was a deep grief. And somebody says that grief doesn't change you, it reveals you. And what I learned that it only not reveals you, it reveals and exposes the entire truth of life and life beyond life. So that's how we begin this journey. I began this journey dedicating it to my father. And he was an environmentalist in the sense that he was land and water management expert. And he was somebody who always believed in values and virtues, and what can be best example depicting values and virtues more than nature and environment. So we dedicated this entire event to environment. So all these years, the theme has been environment and upcoming concerns and contemporary relevant issues. So that's how it began, but I had no idea that how this, one event would not be limited to only one event, but it will connect everybody with emotions and unconditional involvement. So people got connected either for their parents or somebody they lost or somebody they loved, or they connected with an emotion to dedicate it to the cause of environment. I don't say that this is just a social cause. I say it's a self cause. It is for us. We are here because either environment not only affects others, affects very much us, be it in a spiritual sense or be it in a scientific way. This matters to each one of us. So this journey began, and then this began annual event on environment awareness. So all those who've been a part since beginning, they are always there, and I'm so grateful to everybody. How this entire spirituality connects so many people, and now this event has gone beyond the boundaries of our country. So with the many people who are attending from various countries here. So I I just wish to uh, share that for event, for this event, we have many attractive things that we do every year. So this year as well. So the event has a very enriching, very interesting story from a very remote place called Banjar in Himachal Pradesh, where rarest of flora and fauna exist, and what kind of challenges are there would be expressed by one of our very young environment activists who is working there. Apart from that, we have many interesting things on our menu today. First, we have our legendary founders, patrons of this event, Dr. Vikram Singh, who has always graced us. And since the inception of this event, he has been a guardian to this event. And we all know when he's there, we know things would work very well. It will convert into something which would be a treasure as a memory. We have Sri Vian Garg, who has blessed us since its inception. He has been the one we all look forward to get the blessing from. Madam Ashima Singh, who has been my idol, and I try to follow her, I try to imitate her. She is a legend in many of our eyes. She is with us, and she's been always she is the advisor who always gives the most creative ideas, because of which the event always becomes very innovative. Then we have Sri Rajesh Singh Ji, who is Executive Director and State Head UP Office of IOCL. They've been very, very genuine, very kind to always support this event. This is the 5th year when IOCL is supporting us. Sri Rajesh Singh carries a very rich career along with him, and it will be very, very enriching to listen to him. We have an expert, Dr. Venkatesh Datta, who is very known to all of those people who work for environment. He was very occupied today for International Space Day, but then his commitment to this event is, as he has been one of the team members, and he said, I'll be there, even if it is in the beginning, if I can accommodate, he'll be there. So we have Panki Sood, and we have our very popular sign-tune man of the world, Dr. Pradeep Srivastava. He's the one who's going to anchor this entire event. I welcome Sri V.K. Joshi ji, who's been the guru of this event. And I'm very grateful that he's always blessed this event by his presence. Mathur sir, who's our veteran member, and he's the one who has not allowed any event to go without his presence. We have all school teachers from 4 states, Himachal Pradesh, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, and Andhra Pradesh, along with the children, who are 331 children joining this event. There is a live streaming going on in many schools. We have other members, team members of IOCL, my friends from NABARD. Then we have people from university, people from science institutions like GSI and Virpal Institute of Paleobotany. We have people from government, banks, NGOs, friends from distant places, and like Dr. Sadhna Malhotra, Augustine, Kulsum, KL Vinay, and many other friends from abroad have joined us. Shri Anil Shukla ji, who's been a part of this event since inception, he never misses this event, and that means a lot to all of us. Ruby Agrawal and Sujata Anil, who are joining from America. Then we have people from Tanzania, Sri Lanka, Botswana, Uganda, and Belize. All these friends have joined us together. We welcome all of you. And that means a lot to all of us that you're all there, because we're all unconditionally getting connected, not only spiritually, but for the cause. So with this, I would like to share with you that we have, as I shared with you, that we have Sign-Tune Man with us. And you would be wondering, what is this, what is this called as Sign-Tune or Sign-Tune? So I need to share with you what is this Sign-Tune, and then who is this Sign-Tune man? So I just quickly share with you about him, and so that you know, and after that I just hand it over to him. So he is primarily a scientist, And he's created a new kind of discipline in the world called Scientonics, which has been now become the discipline in many countries. You can see on our screen. He has got many awards which have been given to, those top celebrities of the world. So, for example, awards and honors for International Outstanding Young Person of the World. Then uh, he has other awards like National Award Outstanding Young Person of India, then his National Award for Science Writing. He has been ambassador for many things, many causes of the country. He's written books which are very very uh, informative. So this is about our Saintun man. So I would hand over to him this event and go further. Right. So over to you, Doctor.
A very good morning to all of you. Thank you very much, Dr. Shikha Tripathi. And I think it's a great day today. We all assemble every year. And God is very kind to us. Every year we face so many problems, so many difficulties. But thanks to Ma'am Ashima Singh and Dr. Shikha Tripathi and the God, we could finally do to the best of our satisfaction, I think. And today's event will be also a very important one. I'm happy today to see people not only from India, from different parts of the world, as far as Canada, Kazakhstan, and other countries. So I think it's a great day today. And let us start with the first speaker. He is Professor Venkatesh Datta. He is professor in Baba Sahib Bhimrao Ambedkar University, Lucknow. A man who is synonymous with the rivers, river conservation. He's an encyclopedia of how the river can be saved, whether it is a river Gomti in Lucknow. And recently you must have heard about the Kukrel river problem. And he's one of the advisors to suggest the government of UP how we can regenerate many rivers. So he has a very vast experience, traveled all over the world. And with these words, I welcome Professor Venkatesh Datta, and I request him to finish his talk within 10 minutes. Professor Datta, please.
Thank you, Dr. Pradeep ji. It is so nice to be here today. The day is very special to me as well. I joined today in the university 19 years back. So I entered 20th year today. So today is my joining date as well. And today is also National Space Day. We celebrate the Chandrayaan landing on the moon last year. This is the first anniversary of our Space Day. And we also remember Bikram Sarabhai, UR Rao, Abdul Kalam, and all legends. So I start my small, brief talk by first welcoming our mentors, V.N. Garg ji, Asima ma'am, Dr. Bikram ji, V.K. Joshi ji, Pradeep ji, and Augustine. They are all, working silently to ignite the young minds and also to chart the trajectory for the future generation. So I work on river restoration. Rivers are a living ecosystem. We confuse just by seeing a channel of water and think that they are just like, a non-biological entity, just a channel of water. And we forget the connections of these rivers, wetlands, and ponds that they have maintained for thousands of years with the ecosystem. We forget that we are part of that ecosystem. Whenever I teach water cycle, I say that we are also part of water cycle. Our body is composed of water. 70% we are water. And whenever we see a river, a lake, we get so excited because we want to meet and merge with that water. The Panch Mahabhuta, water is a very strong element of all those 5 elements, and we are composed of one of the elements. So we are part of that Panch Mahabhuta, water, 70% is water. And have you ever imagined, have you ever thought the salt concentration of our tears and the ocean? Everybody has to merge in water one day or the other. And if you just think of the salt, have you tasted your teardrop? It's just like a sea water. So we are all composed of the same minerals and, bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium, and it is there in our body and blood. So let me share the screen today. I would tell you that there is no difference between a river and a living ecosystem. There is no difference between a river and a human body. Ganga River, if you see, it is a very unique river. It connects two biomes of the world, the mountain ecosystem and the ocean ecosystem. You know, it is a river which connects these two different biomes together. Very different. You have in the mountains so many rivers and streams, and joining the, across the Sundarban Delta. Then there's a saline water. So a river is mixing freshwater ecosystem and saline water ecosystem, and the Ganga River is a connect. And there are thousands and thousands of rivers that join the Ganga River. Ganga River is the master drain. It connects all the tributaries together and then finally merges with the sea. So the large tapestry of rivers, the order of streams that you see, everything is connected with water. I always say, if you want to know about a city, go and look at its river. A river is a mirror of civilization. If I want to know Lucknow, I would go to Gomti River and see how bad it is. We have become callous to our river systems. If I want to know about Meerut, I will go and see Hindon River. It is just crying. It is dying. So a river is a mirror of the city. A river is mirror of our own soul. So there are many, many stressors. You know, we are going through climate change. We are going through invasion of ecosystem. Many exotic species are coming into our river systems. The native plants are being wiped out by these invaders. Then there are dry episodes, there are flooding events, there are rains which are happening, high intensity rains in a very short duration. That is causing the urban flooding. Why it is happening? Because we have encroached upon all these arteries of nature. We have encroached upon the river arms, the two arms. If you see a river, just try to see the both banks. The both banks are like two hands. You know, left hand and right hand, just like left bank and right bank of a river. Just think of Varanasi. In Varanasi, you see one side there's a ghat, temples, that is the concave side. And the one side you see the vast amount of sand, that is the convex side. So just like our two hands, we do different functions. Right hand, we do writing, and this is more strong. So we don't work with the left hand. Similarly, river, the two banks perform different functions. We have settled on the concave bank and we have not settled on the convex bank. Wherever you go and try to look at these two banks, the convex bank would be a site of deposition of sediments. There would be large amount of sediments, but the concave would be higher than the convex. So we have settled on the concave side, but the concave side is also eroding. So I will not go into detail because time is very less, but I will only tell you that 3 B's and 3 F of the river. Just remember, whenever you go to a river side, remember about free flow, free flood, and free fluvial terrace. Free flow, a river must flow freely. It should not be embanked, it should not be dammed, it should not be, abstracted too much of water. So there is free flow. Then free floods. Floods are necessary. We are demonizing floods. We are saying flood is bad. We have embanked the rivers. But how the sediment would be deposited? How our lands would get nutrients? So a river has legitimate right to flood. So we say free flow and free flood. And the third F is free fluvial terrace. The terrace of the river that you see, the banks of the river, the terrace means the fluvial upland. It should be also free. We are concretizing the terrace of the river. We are making apartments. We are making highways. And remember, it was part of the river. and we are just trying to encroach upon those terraces. Then 3 B's are very important. First B is the bank, you know, the river bank. And second B is bank vegetation, all those plants that you see on both sides of the rivers. And the third B is your base flows. Base flow is the flow that is happening from groundwater to river water. So I always say, if you have these 3 F's and 3 B's, your river is intact, your river is in good shape. And that is why river is a living ecosystem. River is not a dead ecosystem. River is not merely a channel of water. So what are those 3 F's? Free flow, free floods, and free fluvial terrace. And 3 B's, banks, bank vegetation, and base flows. Okay, so they define the river ecosystem. Now coming to the second point, connectivity is very important. Whenever you go to a river side, just think that river is connected to the catchment in a multiple, manifold ways. First is the longitudinal connectivity. River is flowing in its direction. River is not fragmented. River is in longitudinal connectivity, which is with its own channel. We call it longitudinal connectivity. Then we have lateral connectivity on the both sides. Both sides, river is connected with the floodplain, and there's a vertical connectivity. Vertical connectivity, river is connected with the groundwater. We do not see groundwater because groundwater is under the base of the river, below the earth's surface, but that groundwater is connected with the river water. Even in Ganga river, the snow water that you get from Bhagirathi and Alaknanda is only 18%. Rest of the water, 80% water is coming from all those rivers. And many of these rivers get water from the groundwater, from the springs. Okay, so always remember these 3 connectivity: the lateral connectivity, the longitudinal connectivity, and the vertical connectivity. And the third river mantra, or we call it Nadi Sutra. I have framed many Nadi Sutra, but I'll tell you just about 3 or 4 because of the paucity of time. The third mantra is environmental flow. You must have heard, Jal mein rah ke meen pyasi, mujhe sun sun lage hansi. Kabir Das said that a river there are many fish and turtles, and they need water. River has plants, turtles, and fish. So all those animals, they need water. But what about river? A river also needs water. We assume that, okay, this is river would have sufficient water. But we talk about ecological flow, maintaining the environmental flow in the river. How do you maintain sufficient flow for the river to perform its own function? We need water for brushing our teeth. We need water for, doing our daily chores. But what about the river? River also needs sufficient water to maintain the biodiversity. River also needs sufficient water to recharge the groundwater. River also needs water to keep as a bank storage. On both banks, river stores water for summer, just like we store money in our bank for bad days. Suppose there is no money, so we have enough reserve. Similarly, river also keeps enough water in its bank across the terrace, just like a reserve. It is called the bank storage. So for all, if you calculate, if you sum total of summation of all these demands for fish, for turtles, for flow of sediment all across to the Bengal Delta, Sundarban Delta, there should be enough flow for river to carry all these finer, sediments. They get deposited, and otherwise the sea water will come to our fresh water. River has made a barrier. It is called delta, and that is done because of the flow of the sediments. Now, if there is no flow, if there is no water, if we dam it, If we obstruct the flow, all the sediments will not go to the delta and the saline water will come to our freshwater ecosystem. That's why we call it maintenance of the ecological flow or the E-flow. And there is a formula to determine the legitimate requirements of a river. We call it environmental flow, ecological flow, or environmental water release. So a river must have its own share of water, just like human being. We are made of blood and water. If I take out 3 liters of blood, we would die immediately. Similarly, if we take 50% of river's water, river would die. Okay. So we say that at any point of time, the river must have at least 60 to 70% of its own water. So how much water we can abstract? We have so many canals, we have so many irrigation channels, we have so many industries, we have so many urban water schemes. We need water. We are like a crisis, just like we talk about 0 days. In just 200 days, we run out of water and we have to manage on some external source of water. So we are dividing this ecosystem to have its own water. So as a human being, as a citizen, we should fight for rivers' legitimate requirements of its own water. That's why we talk about rights of the river. Just like human beings, we have human rights, we have right to live. Similarly, rivers have right to flow. Rivers have right to maintain its ecosystem. Rivers have rights to recharge the groundwater. Rivers have rights to flourish with beauty and aesthetics. So I will not take much time. I just want to give you these ideas. As a children, I see many school kids. Next time when you go to a river, just think of these indicators: the free flow, free floods, fluvial terrace, river bank, bank vegetation, and base flows. Okay, I have taken 20 years to know about these 6 indicators. And whenever I go to a river, now I don't go with my lab. I just carry water in my hand and I smell the water and I see the lines of my hand, palm. If I see the lines very clearly, if the water smells good, then I think that river is also good. When you see the bank vegetation, when you see the river banks are not concretized, when you see that river is flowing, then river is in good shape. Okay, so thank you very much for giving me this time. And I wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. And together, if we can think about it, we can write to our principal, we can write to our district magistrate, we can write to our SDM, we can write to our municipal councillor or ministers that these rivers are living ecosystem. They must live today and tomorrow and for days to come. Thank you very much to all the volunteers and speakers and mentors. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Venkatesh Datta, for enlightening us about the rivers and what a simple way to judge whether the water is polluted or not. Hold it in your hand, see it, smell it. And I think it's a very simple way. And before I call the next speaker, I want to show you something very interesting. And if I'm allowed to share the screen, I'll show you quickly within few seconds only. Can you see it on the screen, something?
Yes, Dr. Sir, we can see.
A lady, carrying water, and especially in Rajasthan and Gujarat, they have to sometimes walk 10 to 15 kilometers every day. And this, what happens, they become tired, they get cervical spondylitis and all these kind of problems. So here is a man, you see the innovation, what he did. He designed a container where you can put the water, and he's from South Africa. And you can see this, how the internal design it. And then even the kids can roll it. And this container can have many, many pitchers equivalent to the water. And there is an Indian edition also. You can see this lady carrying not only 2, 3, 4, 5 pitchers equivalent water in this container without holding it on her head. So I think it's a very small contribution by the people who think of the people that what best they can do for the environment. So now I go on to the next speaker, Shri Rajesh Singh, Executive Director, State Head, Indian Oil Uttar Pradesh State Office. And I want to share you one thing. Once I had the honor of visiting the Indian Oil Refinery in Bihar in Baroni. I was thinking, the refinery means too much dirty oil spillage, and then it will be polluting the nearby Ganga River and all that. But I was amazed to see when I was taken, and after treatment, how the effluent water is going to a garden where the wildlife is there, the biodiversity is there, very nice park with a lot of animals, fishes and everything. And I really saluted those officers of the Indian Oil Corporation for doing it so nicely. So I think all of us salute the Indian Oil for the wonderful work they are doing. And with these words, I invite Shri Rajesh Singh ji to say a few words and enlighten about the new achievements of the Indian Oil Corporation of India. And sir, your time is 10 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Srivastav. A very esteemed guests and panelists who have joined, and all other members who have joined this webinar. I think it is my privilege and pleasure to join today's webinar. And Indian Oil Corporation, as Dr. Shikha has shared, that we are associated with this foundation for last 5 years. And I think this foundation is doing a wonderful job in spreading awareness about the environment protection and sustainability, particularly among the young generations. I think the topic for this year's event which has been given is Our Land, Our Future, and we are Generation Restoration. Now, I am reminded of a quote from Barack Obama, that is, we are the first generation to feel the effect of climate change and the last generation who can do something about it. I think this particular quote resonates very deeply with the current situation and the topic of discussion which is there for today. Human activities, we all know that, such as the population growth, urbanization, economic growth, overconsumption, deforestation to meet the rising food demands, and growing energy and transportation needs, they are all significantly impacting our environment. These activities are leading to environmental damage, including water and air pollution, global warming, and depletion of ozone layer and soil degradation. Now we stand at a very crucial juncture in the history where climate change demands urgent and decisive action. I think it is our responsibility to adopt sustainable practices to ensure pristine environment for the future generations. Whether we accept it or not, we are the generation who is tasked with this restoration and preservation of human race, well-being and survival. I think addressing environmental protection is something which is a monumental challenge for all of us. But our resolve must match the scale of this particular challenge which we are facing. I think the global community and the nations, they all realize this particular challenge, and I think they've come together to tackle climate change unitedly. We are all aware. I think the prime example for this is the collective effort in form of this conference of parties summits. And I think all these international gatherings, they aim to achieve the global net zero emissions by mid-2050. Now, to limit the rise in global average temperature to not more than 1.5 degrees centigrade over the pre-industrial levels by end of the century. And India is also part of this declaration. And our nation, our Honorable Prime Minister has already given a declaration that we are committed to net zero by 2070. Now, we all know that greenhouse gas emissions, such as carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, hydrofluorocarbons, they are the main culprits behind various environmental issues, including air population, ozone layer depletion, and global warming. Global warming driven by greenhouse gases is a primary cause of climate change which we are witnessing. This includes extreme weather events which we are seeing now, such as severe storms, prolonged droughts, intense flood, as well as the issue of water scarcity, extreme temperatures, and rising sea levels. I think all these phenomena, they really face a not only immediate challenge or threat to human lives and livelihoods, but they endanger our long-term existence and sustainability. Now, if I talk about the global energy scenario, I think the world with a population of 8 billion has a primary energy consumption of more than 14,500 million ton of oil equivalents. And we all know that fossil fuels, which include oil, gas, and coal, they are currently contributing to more than 80% of the primary energy consumption. Only 20% of our primary energy consumption comes from renewable sources, which include nuclear, hydro, or renewables. I think all nations are basically working towards increasing this component of renewable energy sources in the overall primary energy consumptions. And I think if we look into the globally, China is the world's largest energy consumer with 26%. US is at 16%, and we are at number 3 with a primary energy consumption of close to 7%. And way we are growing, I think by 2050, our share of in the world energy consumption will double and will be reaching to almost 14%. And as a humanity, now currently we are emitting almost close to 40 gigatons of carbon dioxide in atmosphere every year. But also, if we don't undertake this decarbonization and net zero, so this figure of 40 gigaton is expected to double, and it is going to increase to almost 90 gigaton by 2050. I think this particular emission of carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere is resulting in greenhouse effect and is leading to global warming. Now, coming to Indian scenario, we all know that our country has an ambitious target of becoming a $30 trillion economy by 2050 from the current 4 trillion economy. And we are expected to have a very high GDP growth of almost close to 7% over the next 2 decades. Now, economic growth, in this economic growth, the demand of primary energy is also going to increase. And in fact, as I was sharing that our energy consumption is going to double from current 7% to 14%. So I think as a nation, we have a dual challenge of not only meeting the present energy demands, but at the same time, mitigating carbon emissions. And as I've already shared that our country has already committed to net zero emissions by 2017. Now coming to Indian Oil Corporation, I mean, Indian Oil Corporation is not only the country's #1 energy player. I think our vision, which is being the energy of India, is totally aligned to the nation's goal. And we are committed to fueling a sustainable future for our country and help the nation to find the right balance of energy trilemma, that is energy security, sustainability, and affordability. In fact, we are committed to find more or create more values with less emissions. And as part of country's net zero target, we are committed to net zero operational emissions by 2046, that is scope 1 and scope 2 emissions. Now, in tandem with the country's ambition of being a $30 trillion economy, we also have a vision of being $1 trillion energy company, revenue giant by 2047. And in fact, currently our share of energy, the primary energy share is close to around 9%, and we want to increase it to 12.5% by 2050. And in fact, our share of country's GDP by 2050 will be almost close to 3%. At the same time, we aspire to increase the share of renewable and clean energy in our portfolio. Currently, it is a meager 0.2%, but our company has planned to increase it to 26% by 2050. And similarly, natural gas, which is comparatively a cleaner fuel. Currently, our share is out of our basically whatever our revenues are, it's close to 8%, which we want to increase it to 26%. And therefore, we want to bring down the share of oil from our portfolio, which is almost close to 92% to around 46%. I mean, this declaration demonstrates our commitment towards the sustainable tomorrow, one which will have a significant impact on India's energy transition blueprint. And in fact, we are developing a range of green energy portfolio, which which includes biofuels, renewable energy portfolio. We are moving into e-mobility solutions, green hydrogen. We are also venturing into innovative carbon negative solutions such as carbon capture, utilization and storage, apart from large scale tree plantation. In fact, the country recognizes and the world recognizes that green hydrogen has a huge potential of being the fuel of future. And in fact, our company is also taking significant steps in improving or increasing our share of green hydrogen. Currently, our refineries, they consume a lot of hydrogen. So by 2030, our plan is to basically ensure that whatever hydrogen which we are consuming, to convert it into green hydrogen, for which, in fact, we are taking a lot of steps in terms of constructing green hydrogen plants across our refineries. And we are also taking steps towards moving into green hydrogen mobility. In fact, in Delhi, we have already tied up with, we are into MOU with many of the agencies, and we have introduced 15 green hydrogen buses, which are plying in Delhi's road. And similarly, as far as e-mobility is concerned, our company is taking a lot of steps across the e-mobility value chain, be it installation of EV charging networks. We already have currently about 10,000 EV charging stations across the country, which we are rapidly expanding. Similarly, we are moving into battery swapping. We have a joint venture for aluminum air technology battery, which is a very innovative solution. Similarly, we are also moving into battery manufacturing. So our company is taking a lot of steps in basically improving our portfolio as far as green energy is concerned. Similarly, biogas or bioenergy is the area where company is focusing a lot. As you are all aware that our country has taken a bioethanol blending program, and currently the oil marketing companies are whatever petrol which is being marketed in the market, 12% is being blended through with ethanol. And our target is to increase it to 20% by end of next year. And we are also taking up steps for production of both ethanol as well as which includes 2G, 3G ethanol. And similarly, in case of renewable energy also, and we, in fact, our ambition is to increase our green energy portfolio or renewable energy portfolio currently, which is close to around 250 megawatt, which we want to increase it to almost 10 gigawatt by 2030. So, in fact, as part of our targets for net zero, we want to have a total green energy portfolio of 31 gigawatt of renewable energy, 4 million metric ton of biofuels, and 1 million metric ton of biogas by 2030, which will further increase by 2050. And in fact, our company is taking a capex of almost close to 2 lakh crores by 2046 to achieve net zero ambitions and to increase our green portfolio. And at the same time, in fact, Indian Oil as a corporation, we are also taking a lot of steps towards biodiversity conservation and ecosystem restoration. In fact, last year we planted almost close to 50 lakh trees within and beyond our organizational boundaries. Our company has played a very crucial role in funding the project for reintroduction of cheetahs in Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh. Similarly, we have adopted single horn rhino as company's mascot, and we are closely associated with conservation of single horn rhino. And we are, in fact, we have taken several other conservation steps, which include protection of olive-redlet turtles in state of Orissa, protection of tiger habitats in Sundarbans. In fact, company has been taking a lot of such initiatives as part of our business. So in the end, in fact, I would only like to close by saying that today we stand at the crossroads of our time. The path we choose today defines not only our future, but the legacy we leave for the generations to come. Our land or our future, we are the generation. Restoration is not just a slogan. I think it is a call to action, a promise to ourselves, and a testament to our shared responsibilities. I think let's move forward with the unwavering determination, knowing that every action we take today will have an impact on the future generations. And as generation restorations, we are not merely the caretakers of our planet, we are stewards, its protector and its champion. So let us rise to the challenge with courage and hope. And future is in our hand. Let us make the future worth living. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I think it was wonderful connecting with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Singh, for enlightening a lot about Indian Oil Corporation, the work it is doing, about the biodiversity conservation, future plans. Hats off to each one of you in Indian Oil Corporation of India. From so many Indians, we are proud of you. So it's great honor for us that Dr. Nirupam Mehrotra, CGM NABARD and Director BUD has also joined. Please welcome him also. And I want to show you something very interesting. Nowadays you must have seen that floods are there. And when the floods are there, starting from India to China to America, what happens, in front of our house, 2 feet high, water is flowing, contaminated with sewer water, electricity is off, you cannot use AquaGuard, RO or anything. And then if you don't get water, don't drink water, you die. And if you drink water also, it is so polluted, you die. So something amazing I want to show you. You must have seen the coconut tree. How much dirty water is here below the tree, but the water which is going to the coconut fruit is very sweet and tasty. So this coconut tree has got a very nice natural filtration mechanism, and scientists learned from it. And what they did, here you can see a very funny scene. This person is urinating, but another person, the same water is coming here contaminated with the urine, but he is drinking. How and why? So what scientists did, they made a life straw which is 30 centimeters long. And if you use this, in the dirty water, the water coming to your mouth is very, very clean. Without electricity, it works. And it has saved the life of millions of people around the world, especially in the Haiti earthquake, Pakistan floods, Thailand floods. And you can see how nature is inspired to solve the problems humans are facing. So even if there is no electricity, there is no RO, there is no AquaGuard, you can use LifeStraw, a 30 centimeter long device, and it can be fine without any problem. So coming on to the next one, I go on to the next speaker. And I'm so impressed with her. This is Ashima Singh, IRTS. She was DRM, Northern Railway, and also the director of Indian Railway Institute of Transport Management in Lucknow. And this is what she speaks, if you ever visit IRTM campus, you'll be amazed to see it is like a paradise for the wildlife, for birds. 100+ peacocks are there. You can come across a snake or so many birds. So she has turned entire theory into practical. If you want to see what is the real work an officer can do, I think you must visit IRTM once a time, and then you can see the vision of this lady. I salute her, and in these words, I welcome you, ma'am, Mrs. Ashima Singh. Please enlighten your encouraging words.
Thank you, Pradeep. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Okay, so today I really heard very good speakers, and I just got tempted. I think I'll start from where you, Pradeep, you showed a slide to us. That was a woman carrying pictures on her head. So it suddenly reminded me that in a particular village in Rajasthan, now boys are not getting girls to get married to, because none of the fathers want to send their daughters to a place where they have to walk for 30 kilometers to get water. So water is creating a lot of problems, and who has brought us to this situation is we ourselves. During the last 200 years, we have been very, very cruel to nature. And it's our generation who has brought nature to such an extent that right now we are unable to save ourselves and are unsure of our own future generation. There's a quote from Rigved, Apo Rakshati Rakshita. Apa is water. So if you care for water, it is water which will take care, which will care for you. And water is supposed to be one of the best medicine. Usko कहते हैं कि आपः सर्वस्व भेषजः, that it is the best medicine. It is water which has to be conserved, which has to be preserved. That is why most of the ancient civilizations of the world came up around the river valleys. So we know of the Nile Valley in Egypt. The Egyptian civilization, the oldest, came across the Nile Valley. Then the Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia. The Yangtze and Huanghe River in China, and the Indus and the Ganges in India. All the ancient civilizations were river valley civilizations. But it is we who have spoiled our rivers, and we have made it into such a thing that now the worst thing what I feel is that we all have to drink either packaged mineral water or the RO water. We can't drink our own water, which once we were drinking directly from the rivers or from the hand pumps or from the pipelines or from the tube wells. But it is we who have contaminated all our groundwater and brought it to such an extent. So Venkatesh has been very, very visionary. We are in touch with Venkatesh for the last more than 15 years. And his vision about the Gomti is what made all of us work for Gomti. And the Gomti, I remember it was in 79-80 when I came to Lucknow. So we used to take our bicycles to the lighthouse of La Martiniere Boys College, load our bicycles on a boat, then cross the Gomti, go to the other side, and then go cycling. There were all sorts of wild birds, deers, and they were all forests. Today, you look for a forest and you look for a river. It's difficult to find Gomti and to locate Gomti. But yes, one man's dedication, and that has been Venkatesh, which has brought quite a substantial change in Gomti. Government became aware of setting up the sewer plants. So it is not that one man cannot make a change. If you have a will, you can really make a change. And a lot.
I think there is some problem with our connection with Ashima ma'am. Hope it is
more sustainable. And we got very, very innovative ideas from the children. Like one of the child said that when you talk of when you're thinking of a person who has done a lot for the environment, it's me who's doing a lot for the environment. So the spirit of me that yes, I can do for the environment is what we want all our 300 plus children to have at least, and ignite that flame in your friend circle and in the atmosphere around, that you have to care for the environment. Only when you care for the environment in return will take care of you. Otherwise, if we are bent upon destroying it, who is there to take care of us? Earlier, when we go through the religious texts and all, I feel that we wanted the environment to be safe, and what Venkatesh said, that do not disturb the flow of water. That concept we had, if you remember the story of Mahabharata, ki Shantanu was a king, but his wife, when he wanted to marry Ganga, Ganga said, that if you marry me, you will not stop my flow. I will be allowed to do what I want. And the moment you stop my flow, I will leave you and go away. So it is so symbolic that Shantanu, when he asked Ganga as to why was he throwing the eighth son also in the river, she said, so you have stopped my flow, you have questioned my movement, so I'm leaving you. So it is it's not that particular story, but it's a sort of a taboo that if you stop the flow of the river will leave you. On Gomti, we must have seen, we have tried all sorts of experiments by making high embankments, doing this, doing that, and we have spoiled the real flow of the river. And what we have done instead, each and every colony of ours just gets flooded because there is no outflow. Not only Lucknow, the sewer system is very bad. We have the drains, they remain choked before the monsoon. But same is the situation of Delhi. Same is the situation of Gurgaon. And a number of other cities, whether they are small or big, the situation is the same. But when we go back and see the ruins of our Mohenjo-daro and Harappan civilization, the first thing everybody notices is a proper
I think
what we see today, most of the kids might not have seen the real lake, जिसको हम चिन्हट का तालाब कहते थे. आप लोगों ने तो बच्चों देखा ही नहीं होगा, but we have seen it, how huge it used to be, and now it has been confined to a small Kathota lake with embankments on all four sides. So we are spoiling our nature ourselves. So I was very happy to see when the students, the younger generation, they approached it from a different angle, and they said, okay, we will fight for the environment, and this particular practice of this country is making the difference, so we will follow this practice. So they suggested a lot of things, what is happening, what the different people are doing. And we also would request the children to keep thinking and keep implementing those ideas. In fact, there was a boy who said that I stopped my grandfather from using chemical fertilizer. And Shikha was very impressed that at least this boy is doing. So we were also really impressed, but we must tell that child that if you have to stop chemical fertilizer, there has to be a substitute. So it's you who will have to work for the substitute, because these days most of the blame we are putting on the farmers. We are saying the farmers are using chemical fertilizers, that's why the rivers are getting dirty, because all the dirty water is flowing into the rivers. The farmers are doing this parali burning. Parali burning, I think most of you must have heard that after they harvest the paddy, then the paddy shoots are left in the field. And the farmers in the same farm, they have to do the sowing for wheat. So for doing the sowing of wheat, they have to do something with the stalks of the paddy. So they burn this paddy. So government also puts a lot of ban and they put embargo on the farmers that don't do this parali burning. Earlier it was all right. There were many trees around which were taking up the carbon dioxide and emitting oxygen instead. But now it is the parali which is contributing to the pollution all around. But just see the plight of the farmer. What should he do? Like one of the child who said that I stopped my grandfather from using chemical fertilizer. I, as a farmer, will tell you, that if you do not use chemical fertilizer and chemical pesticide in today's date, and your only source of earning is farming, you will not be able to survive. Because there are so many pests that without chemical pesticide, your returns from your field will be nearly zero. Then the fertilizer also, the manual fertilizer, what we used to call the compost and things, they have nearly vanished from the market. Now, breeding a cow or breeding a buffalo is not thought to be all that economically beneficial. So there is hardly any compost left to put in the farms. So the chemical fertilizer he will be forced to use unless you give him a substitute. So it is time for the children, for our generation children, to think of alternative means as to how to make better seeds, how to produce the seeds, and how to kill the pests through other organic means. So all these things give us, there's a lot of scope for many more ideas to develop, and we should think of those ideas. Like the ideas which the children had put in tourism sector also, because in tourism also we find that today, most of the tourist spots, the roads are really choked. You can't reach a tourist destination without using extra time, extra fuel, and that fuel is again passing into your ecosystem and adding to the pollution. So a lot of children thought about this subject, and they came out with innovative ideas as to what the world is doing. And how they are sustaining it, how they are doing it. So some of the countries, they suggested, like in Holland, they put the bicycles on the buses, and only the main routes you traverse through the bus. And after that, you take out your bicycle from the bus and you cycle down. So we will have to think as to how to make the environment more friendly, and how we can have the least negative effect on our environment. So hats off to Swayam Siddha, that their initiative is reaching places far and beyond. It has nearly touched the entire Indian subcontinent, and has now even touched the countries beyond the subcontinent. So we are very, very grateful and very, very thankful to Swayam Siddha for this effort which they are doing. And then now we are thankful to the scientists, to the other people who are talking of environment, and especially our special thanks to our children who have started thinking on these lines and are giving us innovative solutions. So these innovative solutions are what we want. Dr. Pradeep Srivastava just now talked about the coconut tree. So I still remember that in our times, we used to have those three pictures. Doctor, do you remember that in the first picture, you put the sand, in the second picture, you put the pebbles, then in the third picture, the clear water comes out. So again, we will have to think of the solutions which our grandparents were using for purifying this water. Because RO water also, you all must be knowing that nearly double the amount of water gets wasted. Some people do utilize it for washing of utensils and washing of clothes, etc. But in most of the households, you must be finding that this RO, the unclean water, is going waste. So children, my suggestion to you is that start seeing one by one as to how we are wasting the nat in our own house. When you are coming out of your room, are you switching off the light? if there is a curtain and a window during daytime, are you opening the window and seeing and reading in broad sunlight only, or are you switching on the light because you want the AC to be used? So if each of us decide today that yes, we have to be saviors of environment, we must start taking small steps. And it is these small steps only which will bring a massive change in our society, in our community, in our country, and in our world at large. Like Bhutan is one country which is just next to India, but it is the only country which does not emit any negative carbon radiations. It is the carbon bowl, that whatever carbon we are producing, like China is producing or India is producing, it consumes that and emits good air and good oxygen. So if one household is also good, if you plant good trees inside your house, if you don't waste water inside your house, you can be a role model for the community, for the people around you, and your house could absorb a lot of carbon radiation which is being emitted from the houses around. So children, in our times, most of the activities used to be outdoor activities. So still, my suggestion to the younger generation is try to spend as much as you can your time outside in the open. That will give you much more fresh air. Especially, I really fail to understand as to why the schools and colleges today are encouraging this trend of making air-conditioned classrooms. If right from the beginning you put the children in air-conditioned classrooms, how will they face the world? Their working environment, yes, it's true that some people who are working on computers, they will not be able to work on the computers, but not for everybody. And that is one thing which is creating a problem for our nation at large. In our nation, everybody wants a white-collar job. Nobody is ready to work. The only work in which we were excelling in the world was computers, the artificial intelligence. But the moment this computer booms come to an end, in production line, we are lagging far behind. Like our carpet industries, whether on our sites, whether in Shahjahanpur or Bhadoi, carpet industry is dead. Why? Because China, the labor is cheaper and the output of the labor is much more. Similarly, in our utensil industry, Muradabad is really dying. China has taken over. So, in a world where we have so much of human resource, and the best thing with us is that we have young human resource. We are not a nation of oldies like Europe. Our average age today is less than 30. So we are a young nation. We have to really take care of our body, our mind. If our body and our mind are under control, we will be able to take care of our environment and our world. So my suggestion to all of you is take care of yourself first. Start eating healthy, start sleeping healthy, start dreaming healthy, start living healthy. And once you're a healthy human being, your environment also will become equally healthy, and it will spread positive vibrations all around. Thank you, Pradeep.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for telling a lot about it. And I think I want to show you something, ma'am, very much emphasize on the water issue, the water problem, And here I want to show you a city in South Africa, which is called Cape Town. And here, this is the worst hit city of the world, which is having a very big problem of the drinking water, or the water, you can say. Day 0 has been declared. And you can see here how people are facing the problem they never had in life. You can see them. And here, per person per day, 50 liters of water are allowed, like petrol and diesel we buy. Similarly, you can see the water is being given. So what solution scientists have found? They found in a nearby country to South Africa, Namibia, there is a small beetle called Stenocara. And this beetle has the capacity to absorb moisture in the night from the ocean breeze and collect it. And by the morning, 1 drop of water is collected, which is drunk by this small insect. And this is something very astonishing for the scientists of MIT and Oxford University. They learned the technology of absorbing water from the air. And what they did, they designed a machine where 100 liters of water can be extracted from the air. And you must have seen nowadays the wind energy turbines are there. And these turbines, they put additional device here, some metals which can trap the moisture of the air. And this way, 1,000 liters of clean water in 1 day can be produced, in addition to producing the electricity. So you can imagine how fantastic the work scientists are doing. And now, going on to the next speaker, I think is another celebrity we have today, Shri V.N. Gargji. He's an IAS officer of 1980 batch and did MSc in physics from Punjab University, Chandigarh. He was a housing commissioner of UP. And you can see he is by heart a very dedicated environmentalist. You can imagine 10 million tree plants were planted in a single day on July 31st, 2007. Hats off to him for this wonderful treat to the environment. And there was a world record in Guinness Book and was also appreciated by United Nations organization. And then he was secretary to the Honorable Governor. And also he was having the second important key post in the government of UP, that was Agriculture Protection Commissioner. So with these words, I welcome you, sir. And please enlighten with your experience, your knowledge, and your blessings.
Can we remove this presentation? Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Pradeep Srivastava.
Thank you, sir.
You have always been very kind in introducing all your guests. I am very happy to join this event organized jointly by Swayam Siddha and Indian Oil Corporation Limited. It has been my privilege since 2008 onwards to be a part of this event, except last year when I had to go to United States to meet my son there. I have attended all the events, environment events organized by Swayam Siddha, and some of them have also been joined by IOCL. Now, I also take this opportunity to congratulate the participants and winners of the contest on making tourism environmentally healthy. A large number of students from all over the country and the world have participated in this, and I congratulate all the participants. I, at the very outset, offer my blessings to Swayam Siddha, particularly to Dr. Shikha Tripathi, that she may succeed in the goal that she has set for herself in making a contribution for environmental awareness as well as improvement in the environment. Now, first thing, since students are also sitting here, I want to emphasize a very simple thing, that nature is critical to us. Nature is critical to all life. Nature means forests, nature means rivers, nature means mountains, nature means oceans, and whatnot. So the mistake that we have been making is, because nature, all natural facilities are free, we try to make use of it all human beings. But in the process, we overexploit nature, and the result is degradation. The result is so many adverse impacts which overexploitation of nature has resulted. And it is this which we are focusing today. The theme, as has been pointed out, is our world, our future, our land, our future. We are generation restoration. Our land, our future means our future is linked with the land, and the land is being degraded. Land is being converted into deserts. There is a desertification all over the world. The overall percentage of degraded land is increasing day by day. And interestingly, I must tell you, this problem of degradation of land is different from climate change. Climate change has its definite bad effects. There's no doubt about it. Many of the speakers have already highlighted it. Many more will highlight it after some time. But land degradation and climate change, they are two different aspects of the problem. Recently at Yale University, a paper was written, which is very interesting, and I was quite confused for some time. What this research said was that because of climate change and increased carbon dioxide in the nature, there has been a reverse desertification in deserts and degraded lands, and some of the degraded lands have seen higher green cover because carbon dioxide encourages photosynthesis process. If carbon dioxide is more, photosynthesis process takes speed, it is speeded up, and therefore it adds to the enhanced green cover. That doesn't mean that you should increase carbon dioxide and so on and so forth in nature so that you have less desertification. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that the two aspects are different, and that must be understood clearly, that our land has to be prevented from degradation, and at the same time we have to look into the problem of climate change. Now, we are generation of eco-restoration. We have to become, if we are not. Eco-restoration has to be the higher priority for our generation, and our generation has to become a generation for restoration. Now, and restoration is not only one form of restoration, that is of land. It is eco-restoration. And I have listed about 9 or 10 ecosystems which have to be restored. First is forests, other is oceans and coasts, then urban areas, rivers, freshwater, peatlands, farmlands, mountains, and grasslands and savannas. So all these 9 or 10 types of ecosystems have to be restored, because all of these are being degraded. All are different aspects of nature. All these ecosystems are different aspects of nature, and all these have to be restored. I came across a project made by UNEP, United Nations Environment Program. It is a 2-year project, 2023 to 2025, and it has been for the improving the eco-restoration of urban areas. Now, what they have done is, in this study of UNEP, they have selected 14 cities in the world, and in India, they have selected Kochi. And how do they transform or restore the ecosystem of Kochi River, Kochi town by improving the eco restoration or eco restoration of the water supply. The canal which is providing water supply from a lake. So they are improving the lake as well as the canal system which is supplying water system to Kochi city. And this is an example of an eco restoration of an urban area. So eco restoration not only means restoration of cities, of rivers or mountains or forests. It is also of urban areas, and it can directly affect us. Now, how do we encourage this? First is, of course, by encouraging the investment in the eco restoration. Like if you are improving Gomti River, as Dr. Venkatesh Dasda just now mentioned, you have to give investment to it. We have to kind of implore upon, emphasize upon the powers that be, all the stakeholders, government, private sector, NGO, public sector, that they should come forward and they should invest in improving the ecosystems. It requires money, no doubt, but then if we have to save our nature, if we have to save our ecosystems, if we have to save our land from being degraded, we have to do this. Now, there is an economics of it also. It's not only ethical, it is not only existential, it is also economic. And what is the economics of it? The scientists have studied, economists have studied, and they said that every dollar invested in an ecosystem restoration creates $30 of economic benefits. The ratio is 1:30. You invest $1 in restoring the ecosystem, and the economy gets in turn a benefit of $30. What a high level of return on investment. But then we have to convince our governments and our private sector and our NGOs that this is how it is. There's an economic part of it apart from its ethical part. We have to do it. It is our collective responsibility, as in our land. It is our land, not one person or one owner's land. It is our land, so the responsibility is integrated, it is joint, and we have to actively participate. We have to mobilize everybody who comes in our contact, that they should contribute to it in different ways, either by way of spreading awareness or are being actively participant in it. Or as IOCL has just now said, they are doing it in so many ways. They are contributing for enhancing the ecology of the system. Then we have to involve the youth, because this generation means basically there is an emphasis on youth. We have to encourage our young boys and girls who are studying in schools and colleges to come forward and become an activist in eco-friendly efforts, all the campaigns. And you know that the small children are the worst affected victims of climatic change. So both from the side of being a victim as well as being a generation which is coming up, we have to have this kind of involvement of youth in our restoration process. As I said already, desertification is a major problem. Our land is being degraded, and 40% of this planet's land is degraded at this moment. And side by side with this is a drought problem. There is an increase of 29%. There is an increase of 29% since 2000 in frequency and duration of droughts. Frequency and duration of droughts are increasing, desertification is increasing, and that is why this theme that our land is our problem it is our future. Therefore, we have to focus on our land. And if we focus on our land, then the problem of food insecurity and biodiversity loss will automatically be taken care of. I am looking forward to the very inspirational speech of my elder brother, Dr. Vikram Singh. And I am also looking forward to our friends from Himachal Pradesh who have done a tremendous job in terms of protecting their ecology from unwarranted misuse by certain people. So I am looking forward to both these people. And with this, I'm thankful to Dr. Pradeep Srivastava and to Swayamsiddha, to all of you for giving me the time to listen to whatever I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your guidance, your encouragement to the new generation. Youth has to play a very important role. And before I go on to the next speaker, I want to show you something one more interesting. Name of Bhutan was mentioned. And that, it is a carbon negative country. You can see here why it is. What is the reason? When we celebrate our birthday, we cut a cake, we use candles and all that. But look at the king of the Bhutan, what he did when he got his first son, no cake cutting, no candle burning. He planted 108,000 trees in Bhutan to make this country very green and beautiful and very eco-friendly. So this is how, when the king of a country sets up an example, I think we have to follow it. And you must have recently seen that Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, has said that one tree in the name of your mother. And when we are having this program today, I think I wish to say through Shikha Tripathi to all of you, why not to plant a tree in the name of your father? And that will be the biggest tribute to this function, to her father, to all our fathers, who, and I think we can do justice to it. And now I want to share with you most dynamic person, Professor Dr. Vikram Singh. The most prestigious guarantee awards list is there, you can see. And as you know, he was the Director General of Police of the biggest police force in the country of the state UP. Most sought person on television nowadays, whether it is a Calcutta crime, rape case, or any other crime case, he's the most sought person for all the TV channels. And he's not only an IPS officer, but also he did PhD in the ecology from Kumar University in 1990. And at present, he's the Chancellor of the Noida International University. You can see his awards, a list of awards, hats up to him, so much great work. And the way he speaks, is a very, very vibrant speech all the time, most encouraging for all the kind of people. And once he starts speaking, all other people only listen to him, nothing else. So with these words, I invite Professor Dr. Vikram Singh to say a few words to us and then ignite us, the new youth of the country.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pradeep Srivastava, sir. It is exactly 12 o'clock. Good morning and good afternoon, both in the Sandikal. Thank you very much for giving me this vibrant platform. I'm indeed honored and humbled to be a part of this great platform, and I have attended and honored to attend all of them without exception since its inception in August 2006. It's a great family. Dr. Shikhaji, many congratulations to you and the Swayamsiddha family. Dr. Pradeep Srivastava, Dr. Venkatesh Dattaji, Madam Ashimaji, what can I say? Mr. V. N. Garg, my younger brother, and all world-class speakers that have assembled today. All world-class. They have been so sumptuous takeaways from the interaction till now. I really don't know where to begin and where to stop, but I can tell you from first the negative experiences. I take you back to many decades when Dr. S.S. Bhatnagar when Dr. S.S. Bhatnagar, the great scientist of India, was having a chat with Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya ji. And he said, Pandit ji, I can prove scientifically that anybody who bathes in the Ganga in Varanasi shall certainly go to heaven. And this is many, many decades ago. It's not something that happened yesterday or 2 or 3 decades ago. Pandit ji was absolutely in seventh heaven of delight. Yes, Doctor, tell me, how can a person go straight to heaven? Pandit ji, the Ganga water is so polluted. It is so polluted that there cannot be a worse water body than the Ganges here in Varanasi. Therefore, the only place you can go from here is heaven, because the number of pollutants here defy all theories of homeostasis or self-balancing, and indeed, it is beyond redemption. It's a different matter that Ganga Action Plan has begun, and we have now started reversing the negative and the terrible damage we have inflicted to our water bodies. Homeostasis is a term, children, please understand that there is a limit to resilience of any ecosystem. There's a limit. You can stretch an elastic band, but beyond that, the elastic band will break. Then you have to have somebody like Bhagirath Prayas who do, like Mr. V. N. Garg, planting 10 million trees is no joke. You really have to have that fire in your belly to plant 10 million trees. Dr. Pradeep ji said, plant a tree for your mother, plant a tree in the name of your father. That, of course, is very noble. But what we have done is like Mahakavi Kalidas in his earlier avatar, chopping at our own roots. What to talk of chopping at our own roots? The entire Himalayas, most of it, if we go to Nainital and we have a memory of 40, 50 years, we would realize that we have chopped off most of the Deodar trees, the pine trees, and now the tragedy is that we require air conditioners in Nainital. What could be a better example of a self-goal than this? Madam Ashma came out with very wonderful pearls of wisdom, and I can only say that this air condition has done such a great damage to all of us. Whether in the class, okay, but when the police, I find that even our junior colleagues cannot do without an air conditioner. I was an SSP of Kanpur with a reasonable degree of seniority, but when my DIG knew that I was installing an air conditioner in my car and at my office, he said, it is unbecoming of a man of steel like you to put on air conditioners. That, of course, is many, many years ago. Now the definition of steel and the definition of officering has also changed. But yes, Madam Ashma has absolutely, how will you face this cruel world if you are only accustomed to lullabies and air conditioning comfort? Eat healthy. जो थाली में है वो हम होने वाले हैं. जो थाली में है वही हम होने वाले हैं. The choice is yours. Eat healthy living foods, sprouts, salad and fruits. Sattvic ahar, then you become a brahmachari. Then you become a devotee. Then you become a sadhak. Eat KFC and other subsidiary outlets. Let me tell you, it is impossible to think with clarity and to have sustained hard work unless a student has the capacity of sustained hard work. It will be very difficult for him or her to concentrate for 12 hours. We've had cases, those who want to qualify for the NEET examination, for IIT, JEE, or the IS examination. Well, for 1 mark, there are 500 students. Therefore, every mark counts. The choice is yours, either to be at the top by living a healthy life, a life of denial, of opulence, a frugal life of a minimalist, contributing to nature, or living in a manner as if there was no tomorrow. Let me tell you that crime, hedonism, and violence are badly propagated. And there is a couplet, मांगती है भूखी इंद्रियां, मांगती है भूखी इंद्रियां, भूखी इंद्रियों से भीख, मान लिया है स्खलन को तृप्ति का क्षण, नहीं होने देता विमुक्त इस मरीचिका से यह अघोरी मन, बदल बदल कर ठगता है चेतना का चिंतन, होते ही पटाक्षेप ये पंचमेल की भीड़. The moment there is disintegration of my body, when it's put on the funeral pyre, everything disappears. I'm currently in Mumbai, and whether it's Mumbai or anywhere, you go to any 5-star hotel, they have a wonderful placard. They say, we respect nature, therefore we will not change your linen for 2 days unless you wanted to conserve water. What a holy thing to do. But this love for nature, where does it go? When it comes to the disposal of plastics, the use of plastics, the use and disposal of other organic, inorganic, and non-eatable wastes, then your love for nature takes a backseat. This intellectual dishonesty is all pervasive in our society. When it comes to the laws of economics, which will benefit your business, then the love of nature takes the front seat, at least the appearance part. But the practice part is never there. Therefore, children, be attentive to what your elders have just told you. Ashimaji has said, the fire of life burns in water. I could go on and on. The hydrological cycle shows, and as Dr. Pradeep Shrivastava said, there are so many ways of conserving water. Tree plantation is one. There's an example of a village in Rajasthan. When a daughter is born, they promise to plant not 1 or 10 trees, but I think 101 trees. When the birthday comes, they plant even more trees. And then they deposit and collect 20,000 rupees, collect 10,000 rupees from the family and put it in Kanya Dhan Yojana. So now, the blessing of the daughter, who in any case is the blessing, when a daughter is born, it is a celebration. It's an utsav. And why not? Why not? Now, the arrival of the Lakshmi in that village is such that the water level has come to 50, from 900 to it has come to 50 feet now. There is greenery all around, and it is such a pleasure that you don't require air conditioners, green energy everywhere. So it is in our hands to reverse the damage that we have already done. All the deserts, as Mr. V.N. Garg has said, are at one point of time dense forest. But for whatever reasons, we denuded the forest by natural calamity, it may have happened, or subsequently by our negative approach towards nature and nature conservation. My last point would be that I have been a part of the special task force of the UP police, and now also I'm in an advisory capacity. The manner in which we are ruining the biodiversity today, you name the animal, it is not just tigers, Project Tiger is there. It is not just rhinoceros because of its horn. It is not just the telephone because of the ivory tusk. It is each and every animal or creature on the planet, whether it is a snail, whether it's a snake, whether it's a butterfly, whether it is a bug, everything is exported because our neighbor, the traditional Chinese medicine, uses them all. What to talk of tiger claws and bones? Even the tiger droppings are required. Even the elephant droppings are required. Even the residue of the snake skin, even they are required. Therefore, STF has done a wonderful job in curbing turtle smuggling, smuggling of rare species of fish. But this is just the beginning, a tip of the iceberg. Miles to go before we sleep. And indeed, the STF has done a commendable job, but the World Wildlife Foundation and other agencies, NGOs, are again doing a tremendous job. The capture of bears and monkeys, that also needs to be reinforced by government measures, and the police have to be educated. And Dr. Pradeep Shrivastava, with your knack and talent of educating anyone who has even the basic knowledge of Hindi and English, you are a game changer, and you can do wonders by having your workshop with the STF, the police, and other law enforcement agencies. We have made a small beginning today, but this beginning now has become a movement, and this movement, I think, will become a tsunami in times to come. With all my good wishes, greetings, I wish you all the very best, especially Dr. Shikhaji. May God bless your path always. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your very encouraging words. And I think miles to go before we have to do anything, that's a take-home message you have given, and a lot can be done. And hats up to STF for the wonderful job they are doing, because we have lost so many very important plants and animals, which the output of research of those done on them, the money goes to billions and billions, the kind of things. Now I want to show you something very interesting, All of you must have heard that when we use refrigerator, they use, the gas behind in the compressor, and that gas used to be earlier chlorofluorocarbons that used to go up and damage the ozone layer. And in turn, ozone layer is damaged, UV radiation was coming, a lot of people were getting a skin cancer. So I want to show you something very interesting. This man, Mohammed Jan Abba, he is basically from Nigeria, Rolex Foundation Award winner. what he did, he designed the cheapest refrigerator of the world. The cost is 100 rupees. Two pots you can see is just like the picture. Between the two, he used to put sand and water. So when water evaporates, what happens? It becomes cool, and inside, in a place like Africa, you can keep your vegetables safe for at least 10 days. And this is the cheapest refrigerator designed by a man who is not an expert in any kind of global warming, climate change, or technical degree, but seeing the kind of technology people needed at an affordable cost. So, next speaker is a very interesting fellow, and I want to show his small profile, Panki Sood, known as Aditya, and he has done a lot of work in Himalayan National Park, and he was born in Kullu, and he has done very good work. And I think instead of talking anything, let us listen to him and the kind of work he has done and why he has been made famous all over the world. Panki Sood.
Father Pranamji, I am audible to everybody?
Yes, yes.
It's an honor for me to sit with such nice advocates on environment, on all the other subjects. You know, it was really nice to hear everybody. Just to give a brief introduction about myself, my name is Panki Sood and I am from Himachal Pradesh, a valley of gods, a land of gods. And I'd been lucky enough, to see some best of the Himachal throughout my life. Now I'm 47 years old, and in my entire life, I've walked quite a lot, trekked a lot, done a lot of wildlife sightings, and walked quite a length and breadth of Himachal Pradesh during my lifespan till now. So today, as said, my topic is on Great Himalayan National Park, which is a World Heritage Site. And this national park was formed, a traveler called Gary Keston, who was traveling all over the world. He was traveling here in 1984 in Himachal Pradesh. And that's the time when he recommended the government of India to save this pristine area as a national park. But in early 80s, the concept of national park was not very famous in India because we were struggling with other things. And slowly the file dragged, and 1999 was the year when we finally got the status of national park to this special forest area, reserve forest area. But at that time, there was no awareness about the national parks, and people were, they were in dark that what's going to happen, because suddenly the government came in and they said, okay, today this area where we used to take our sheep, take our goats, we used to go for collecting woods, go for hunting, go to collect herbs. Suddenly one day governments come in and they say, okay, now this area belongs to a national park. So that was quite a time in early 1999 and 2000 when there was a lot of conflict between the local communities and the government, that how can you stop us from going where from centuries our forefathers have been to, they took the grazing rights of the nearest villages nearby, and small compensations were given to the people. So finally, this conflict started between the communities and the national park authorities. So finally, the authorities came out with solution. Okay, let's start some employment generation activities in this area. And that was a time when ecotourism and small self. Is this screen audible too? Can you see the small presentation which is showing up on the screen?
Yes,
Yes, Panki. If you
Yes.
can do that slideshow, so that will make it all the more. I mean, it's visible otherwise.
Yes, it's not, yeah, so this beautiful photograph which you are seeing on the top, in which it's written Great Himalayan National Park. This photograph was clicked by me in 2018, and you can see 3 people walking in this photograph. So this was a beautiful untouched field, you know, a field where never ever any human foot was put ever before. And I think after this, nobody went here. We went for a peak climbing, which was an unnamed and unclimbed peak in Great Himalayan National Park. And I was quite lucky to lead this expedition with these beautiful people. The guy you can see in the last with some white hairs, his name is Vince Pochenet, and this year in Paris Olympics, he was the openers. He gave the opening speech for Paris Olympics. He is Olympian, and other two people they both were environmentalists and they were herb researchers, which are in this photograph. So they were like, you know, their mouths were just open when we reached this beautiful area, and they said, "Nothing can be better in the world." You know, after seeing this area. So it was quite an honor for us, you know, to be in this part and to live in this part. And slowly, as I'm taking you back to early 90s, when this park was made a national park, the conflict started between the local community, and then the ecotourism part came in, where, you know, the livelihood to the local people were provided by, you know, sending people like these to trek in, and the whole of the staff and teams were the local people who lost their rights in the national park. They were trained to take treks like this in this park. From 99 till 2014, it was a very slow process because people were not aware of this and there was no social media or anything. So the marketing was very slow, but business was still coming in, and people, you know, the whole idea was getting that little business was that people started getting happy after a few years, after 5, 7, 10 years, that, okay, fine, we are getting something out of this area, you know. And slowly people can also see the difference between the area which was reserved and the area in which they were living. This area was more green, more better. But still there were, you know, lot of resentments with the locals, which came time to time. But slowly, as the time led, जैसे जैसे time आगे बढ़ता गया, the resentments started finishing, and today people are quite happy that this area was reserved and was saved. Because as I was hearing ma'am, she told that one of the kid, the grandson, he said that I won't allow my grandfather to put any chemical fertilizer in the field. So that is what is required at a time, you know, these small steps like these. We have to take our thinking towards that side, you know, that chemical fertilizers and any other thing, you know, which is more destructive than constructive to the nature. We have to stop. I have to start from my own house. So to start these practices now in Tirthan Valley, especially in this Great Himalayan National Park area, which was declared as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the natural category in 2014, which was another feather in a cap of Himachal Pradesh and, you know, especially Kullu area, and in fact for whole of the India, because this meeting was done in Qatar, in Doha in 2014. And in Qatar and Doha, this area was declared as a UNESCO World Heritage Site on 24th June 2014 at 5:30 p.m. And same day, we were all sitting in a DFO office, and a call came from Prime Minister's office. They congratulated personally our DFO and conservator for getting such a big tag for this area. So when we come to the biodiversity of this area, it's a very unique biodiversity with almost 832 plus species of plants. The flora and fauna is very, very strong of this area, and this whole area is having its own microclimate. That was the reason it was put in a natural category, which is the toughest in the world to get when it comes to UNESCO World Heritage Site status. And then we have a very special birds here called Western Tragopan, which is endemic to this area, and it's also known as king of the birds. It's called Juju Rana in Hindi, and which means Juju means the bird and Rana means the king. So it's also called the king of the birds. And all over the world, whoever is a bird watcher, if they want to have a bragging right, they need to come and see this bird in this area, and they have to travel. We have got bird watchers all over the world to see this special bird in this area. Recently, in 2019, before the COVID strike in, we had some few PhD researchers who were doing the research on animal species of this area, and the snow leopard conservatory was shocked because we have got the ever lowest sighting of snow leopard at 2000 meters, at 2100 meters in this area. You know, this, it's a very interesting story that this researcher never opened this trap camera, which was put on 2100 meters, thinking that it would be very normal things. At the end of the studies, when all the trap cameras were opened, so we took out this one also. And when we were going through these photographs, and it was March 2019, and this snow leopard photograph came in 2018 in October. And it was one of the lowest sighting of snow leopard ever in the world. Full male adult snow leopard was caught crossing the field, and snow leopard conservatory was, you know, they were all shocked, and they were very interested also to know that why this snow leopard has come so, you know, below 2000 meters, which is a very shocking thing to be that leopard in this environment. So various theories came up. Still the debate is going on that why that snow leopard was here. Then another snow leopard was caught. So two snow leopard was finally caught in the trap cameras, and they were seen in a proof that snow leopard really exists in this area. Before that, it was all stories, you know, हमने stories सुनी थी पोटर से, गाइड से, that एक बड़ा जानवर है जी, लंबी पूंछ है, धब्बे होते हैं. So these were all stories, लेकिन किसी ने कभी भी उसको फोटोग्राफ नहीं किया था. So we were quite lucky that these researchers called Meghna from WII from Dehradun, she was the first one to record this whole thing. So as you know, the challenges with every natural environment comes in. Now, more tourism has grown in the ecozone of the Great Himalayan National Park, you know, and it's called Tirthan Valley. And because this national park is also source for 4 main rivers of our area called Tirthan, Sange River, then Jivanala River, which very few people know about, and actually a very handful people have gone to that area, and then Parvati River in Kasol. You must have heard the name of Kasol in Parvati, in American Belt, which is also famous for its hot water springs. So as the tourism flourished, you know, this area became a World Heritage Site. It got famous, and more people started stepping in. Basically, to explore Tirthan Valley, it became more famous. Tirthan became more famous than Great Himalayan National Park. And with that, many homestays started mushrooming up. You know, every day a new homestay was coming up. And because the culture of Kullu is making a Katkuni house, which requires a lot of wood. So a lot of trees also, you know, unethically were cut down, which led to deforestation in quite a time. But now people have started realizing about it, and slowly, 3 days back, if you see a very viral reel of cutting lot of green trees was which was viral on the social media from this area. So full of the administration and system is again, activated all their rules and regulations about this thing. So hopefully local people will also understand that they have to switch on to more economical, yet not cement construction, but more inclined towards mud construction, or which are more eco-friendly constructions and which goes with our style of Kathkoni in Himachal Pradesh, but not using a wood. So I'm sure there must be a way to make some beautiful homestays out of this. Human wildlife conflict is not very much in our area because animals have a lot of free area for themselves. Very few incidents have been still, in this area where there was any human wildlife conflict in Great Himalayan National Park and the ecozone of this area. Definitely, because now more homestays are coming up, and this area was known for birds, so many trees are being put down. So these birds have started vanishing away. We got a chance to work with Princeton University from USA, where researchers did a 4 years survey in this area. And his subject was altitude migration of birds in this area, that because of, as the next challenge come, the climate change, that what is the reason that the birds which were found on 1600 meters have shifted to 1700, birds which found out 1700 have moved to 1800 meters. And that connects to our next challenge called climate change. मैंने बचपन से बहुत climate change देखा हुआ है. Recently, I visited Lohal with my kid, with my son, and I showed him an area of Bada Shigri Glacier. I remember when I used to go with my father, and I've gone quite a lot of time. That Bada Shigri Glacier was right on the road which leads to Ladakh. But when we go today, it's almost like 2 days hike to reach this Bada Shigri Glacier. So that is one of the live example which we have seen in our life, that climate is changing, and it's very alarming as well. And again, small things will only stop this. We don't need to do very big things. Very small changes in our life patterns, जैसे अभी सर बोल रहे थे कि प्लास्टिक का use, or very small things I have to start from. I'm taking all these things of me because I am also responsible for it. So I have to start and change my life pattern. Then only this climate change will slowly, it will take years and years and years and years. Maybe our next generation, if they start practicing all these things, we can see these glaciers coming down back again. But at a moment, at this time, it almost feels like an impossible thing. Another big challenge which came in with tourism was, that a lot of youngsters started coming in, and a lot of foreigners also started coming in, with which economy came in, but a lot of other social challenges also came in. As our Kullu area and Himachal Pradesh is known as Valley of Gods, and we are very God-dependent people, God-fearing people. And when it comes to local gods, for any local of this area, it's end of the world when it comes to their local gods. They can do anything for that. And with this, I call it a social pollution which came with the tourism, that slowly, there was change in our cultural values which were there, as the money started flowing in. some unethical demands of tourists came in, and people for money, they started fulfilling it. And as they started doing that, the culture dilution started, and lot of drugs came into our area, and lot of youth of Kullu area is trapped in this web. I was also one of them. I was also trapped in drugs for 15 years when I was young, 15 years. When I was just 15, we used to go to Kasol, to Manigaran, to see all these fauners and to take them on treks. We used to work as guide. But with that, we were introduced to some, really hardcore drugs which came in, like cocaine and LSD and chemicals. So I wasted almost, 14 or 15 years of my life in this drug using. And while I was 30, and I lost everything in my life, which was spiritually, financially, emotionally, and physically. On all four aspects of life, I was totally, bankrupt. Physically, I was totally finished. Financially, I was totally finished. Emotionally, I had no connection with anybody in my family or any other people. And spiritually, I had no connection with God or anybody. But I was quite lucky sitting here today, talking to all of you, because I got a second chance in my life to, I call it God's grace, कि भगवान ने मेरे को हाथ दे करके बचाया. Because I see, when I look back, still today, a lot of my friends who were my using partners, who were into drugs, are still struggling to come out of this unknown disease, a disease which you can't see or understand. And it's not a common man disease. This is a disease which we were not born with, but this is something which I paid to get into this addiction, and this is another big challenge of tourism. Again, I'm not blaming tourism, but it was one of the aspects which came in, and the whole idea of sharing this was that tourism brings good things and bring bad things as well to the area. And this is a biggest challenge now, because Kullu is now again, in early 90s, drugs came in when I went into that, and then slowly it vanished away. But again, it recame the reback of, again, the drugs was in 2018 in Kullu and Himachal area. And now we can see all the kids right from the age of 14 to 18, especially the girls. The girls in our area are getting addicted and webbed to this very strong chemical, which is now on the streets, called fentanyl. And there are many more names about it. And this is again a very challenging issue for everybody, because nobody likes to talk on this topic much, because it's a topic of shame and guilt. But I always try to share as much as possible, because you never know that you can give a message of hope to somebody, that, there is a chance to come out of it. And if you ever see somebody, struggling from it, you can always share my number. You can take from Shikha ma'am and do that. Till now, I've counseled almost 10,000 students. I've also trained customs officers, to how to deal with narcotics when they are found. And things are going on, yeah, like that. That's a small phase of my life which went, and now I'm sitting here and talking to you. And now we next move to the future growth. Future growth is, ecotourism is one of the key factors, which will bring again fame and help locals to financially grow. And a very special thing which is being done in this area is working with self-help groups. I personally, because in last 20 years, I have seen a lot of lecture and talking being done with these self-help groups. And again, they are just restricted on these jam, achar and chutneys. So when God made me, He gave me a second chance to come, and I'm a big risk taker. So yeah, I personally formed a self-help group of 6 ladies from this area, which I want to make as a face for self-help groups in Himachal Pradesh. So I just didn't, we just didn't stop at achar, jams, and chutneys. We said so much of construction is going on in this area. Let's bring uh, building supply materials. And that really took off when these ladies started doing that. And today I'm very proud to say that this group is one of the only groups in Himachal Pradesh which is working like this. And now we have done a financial literacy program for them, and all the saving which they have done is now being invested into stock and mutual funds. So this is the first group of Himachal Pradesh, till where I know, where 6 ladies from the villages of ecozone of Great Himalayan National Park are investing their money in stocks and share market. And it's a talk of the town because a lot of other ladies are also attracted to, many more groups are attracted towards this group because they can see this group growing, and you can only show by, when something practically on ground has been done, that is only the thing we can talk about. So yeah, and that how, we all need to change ourselves and know the small practices. I heard some beautiful examples about planting a tree when the girl child is born. A boy stopped his grandfather from putting a chemical fertilizer. That how the things will change, and that is how we will fight all these challenges which we were talking about. And I am really thankful to all of you for giving me time, listening to me, and it's honor to me to sit with such a wonderful panel and sharing a stage with you all. Thank you. Sadar Pranam.
Thank you so much, Panki Sood, for doing a very adventurous job in Himalayas. And I think the tips you have shared will be very grateful. We are for that. And I think it will guide the young minds when they are living in an area like Himalayas, how best they can conserve it and they can make it eco-friendly. And hats off, and I salute you for the wonderful work you are doing. Thank you so much for sparing time to be with us. And can you close the presentation, please?
Is it done, sir?
Yeah. So I want to show you children one more thing, See, whenever we go to any coffee shop or we buy a cold drink or we take anything, to drink, straw is given, a plastic straw is given. And can you believe all over the world, the billions and billions of plastic straws are used and they are not recycled. They finally end up in the ocean. So can you imagine billions of plastic straws are there going to the ocean and creating a heavy pollution. So here is a man from Vietnam. His name is Tran Minh Tien. And this Tran Minh Tien has got a very good idea. And what was the idea? Because he saw a natural grass which is hollow like a straw. And he cut into pieces and start marketing them. Because it is eco-friendly, it is degradable, so it will not cause any problem to the environment. Once it is thrown, it will be completely degraded and merged with the nature. So there are people around the world, doing wonderful job. And in this program today, we also had International Unique Environment Contest of 2024. A lot of entries were there from all over the country. And I think for announcing the results and other details, may I ask now Dr. Shikha Tripathi to take over.
Thank you, Doctor. I think all of us have been just glued to the entire deliberation, because everybody has been so inspiring and so wonderful and so enriching. Now, this is the time to talk about the contest, where children, 331 children from across the 4 states of the country participated, along with 2 children across the border, or one was from Sri Lanka and the other was from Tanzania. So these children participated, and the contest was designed by Ashma ma'am, which, the results were absolutely amazing and very enriching to all of us who went through the results, especially the jury members. So before I now make some announcement, including the announcement for winners, whether Ma'am Ashma would like to share about how this entire process of selection took place, ma'am.
Yes, Shikha, I would love to share it, especially with the children who have been participants themselves. There were 331 entries, so it was not a small task. And many of you will feel as to why you are not amongst one of them. But please be rest assured, all 331 of you have done wonderful jobs. But since the prizes were limited, many of you have been eliminated. So the criteria we kept was that we had given you the opportunity of reading about the different ways in which people are trying to make tourism more sustainable and trying to suggest the names of those who have been very close to environment. So wherever we saw common points, we eliminated them nearly totally. There were a lot of talks about those particular aspects which are commonly being shared all over, and they are available all over the net. So internet makes it quite possible for you to get the information. So we tried to in the first screening, we tried to select eliminate those entries which were common. So nearly 250 or 275 entries were looking quite common, like everybody had come up with the same idea. So wherever we found more than 10 people with the same idea, we tried to eliminate all those entries, because it is through this process of elimination that we could come to this conclusion. Then we wanted something indigenous and something original. So those of the kids who have just copied and pasted from the net, the information they got from the net, they have copied and pasted. We felt that that was just an information. It was more of a bookish knowledge here. So let's try to look for those kids who have shown some sort of an innovation. Abhi, I was listening to Panki, and it was such a pleasant surprise that this drug problem, generally people do not associate with tourism, but yes, it does happen. I remember when I was 3 years back, I was with my friends in Bhutan, and one of my friend asked the guide there, and what is the naughtiest thing which you did as a guide in your life? So he says, ma'am, if you ask me, one of the foreign ladies, she came, and in Bhutan, the tourists are not allowed to take their cigarettes or their liquor with them into the country. So all the luggage is checked and cigarettes are totally banned. But he says, ma'am, that lady came and she said that I've heard in your forest there are Marziona plants. It's a sort of a drug. I don't even remember the name. And I said, yes, I know that. So both of us went there and we tried Arizona. So it was really very tempting and I was getting into it. But then my wife caught me by the neck and she stopped me from working as a guide for full 3 years. She said that I'll lock you inside the room and then go and earn the living, but I will not let you go as a guide. So yes, with tourism and with the influx of foreign traffic, a lot many such things come. So tourism has its plus points as well as its minus points. And the worst minus points of tourism today, as known to everybody, is plastic. So Himachal was one of the states which banned the use of plastics, and students used to go and check the buses and the luggage of the passengers who were going into Himachal. So they were very, very positive steps. So a lot many children have come with such positive steps. So while judging, we are in the elimination round, we tried to eliminate all those who had come up with similar ideas. So child, if you are not in the list of a winner, it is not because you have not done your work well, but it is because a lot many of your friends did the same work which you did. So it's not because of your fault. So be happy, all of you are winners, since you have the awareness is created in you. You can be rest assured you have a long, long way in saving the environment. So it was being different, being innovative was one of our criteria. And in that, Pradeep, myself, and Shikha did the second round of screening, but the first round of screening was done by whom, Shikha? Could you just mention that lady's name and tell about her details?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, because it was not easy to shortlist and it was not easy to actually assess, because all the responses were qualitative and children had done a lot of work. But then I know how much time you and Dr. Pradeep Srivastava have invested in going through each and every response. So initially, we shortlisted by involving a young girl who has an expertise on environment, and she works as a subject matter specialist in BIRD, Bankers Institute of Rural Development. So she invested about 4 hours in going through all the responses and then shortlisted based on the originality factor, and also how much research has been done by each child. So based on that, we shortlisted. Then the shortlisted responses were submitted to the jury members, including you and Dr. Pradeep Srivastava. And then we again invested around 4 to 5 hours going through each and every response. So that's the way you have done a very great job, you and Dr. Srivastava. Each child will get a certificate. So this is, but then prizes were limited. So thank you, ma'am. I have some announcement related to this, the entire event and the contest. So beginning with this year, we have 2 children who have been very keen and they very wholeheartedly participated in our event, especially in the contest. So one was Mandara Arandara, who is from Sri Lanka, and the child studies in grade 8 and his school is Lyceum International School. The child has given a fantastic kind of response. And the other very small kid, as an exception, we had taken her just as an encouragement. She was not reviewed on contest because she was like very small, but it was very, very good to see her keenness to be a part of it, and she did a great job in her contest responses. Her name is Stephanie Revocators. She is from Arusha, Tanzania. So these 2 kids would be, especially honored by giving a certificate as young environment activists because they're working on it. The second very important announcement I need to make is that acknowledgement by Swayam Siddha and IOCL of great contribution made by Shri Kailash Keswani ji. He's a very senior teacher, environment coordinator of City Montessori School, Aliganj. Now, why his name is being mentioned? Because he has been the one who is associated with this event since its inception. And not only associated, he's the first one who sends all kind of nominations of the students, and also asks whether he can do anything. And he's been helpful in volunteering for many activities which under this event is done. So he has been one very dedicated person for the cause of environment, and we are honoring by giving a special certificate to him. So now coming to the contest winners. So I begin with because children have been waiting for long, so I straight away come to the results. We begin with jury's special mention or choice. So this goes to the two kids. One is Ansh Tripathi, who is in class 12, and he comes from City Montessori School, Indiranagar. And the other child is P. Thanish Sagar, who is from class 10th, and he is from DAV, Andhra Pradesh. So these two kids get jury's special prize. Now the third position or third prize is shared by two children. One, Shah Ali Amar Faruqi from 9th class. He comes from CMS Rajajipuram, City Montessori School, Rajajipuram. And the other child is Zainab Fatima. She is from class 11 and she is from CMS Aliganj. Second prize, which is a trophy, which is the winner is Saiz Sumant Mitu. He is from 10th class. He is from DAV, Andhra Pradesh. And of course, the Veer Bhadra Trophy, which all of you wait for, is going to CMS Mahanagar this time. The child is Nilesh Agrawal, who comes from class 11. Now, as we shared that there were 3 questions and the marks have been added of all the 3 questions and all the 3, the responses in the 3 questions. And based on the total marks, the jury has given all these ratings. So I congratulate each one of you who have participated and the ones who have been winners. Actually, winners are everybody who's participated, as ma'am said. Because you have put in your time and efforts to enter the contest and contribute to the cause. You've been sitting through, so that is something incredible. So all of you are winner. So before,
could I just interrupt? Could you read those 3 questions for the information and knowledge of those who don't know about the questions?
Yes, ma'am. So there were 3 questions. Actually, they were very creative and very good question. All hats off to ma'am who has designed this. Question number 1 was the name of the place and the country where innovative measures have been adopted for making tourism environment healthy, and also indicate at least 2 features which are, which make it innovative. So this was question number 1. Question number 2 was highly creative, where the student was supposed to write 2 steps which can be taken, the most original ideas which is implementable also, on how we can make our tourism environment healthy. A lot of creative responses had come, which Madam and Dr. Sahab had reviewed. And the question number 3 was, name your most favorite environmentalist and what are the 2 things that you like about him or her. So these were the 3 questions. So all the responses were in the form of, text. So, and they gave a lot of research was done by kids, some of the kids, and they gave all these responses. So it was a treasure to receive all these responses. So with this, since there is always a few minutes given to the audience, if they wish to say, especially the ones who have been associated from the beginning or the ones who have joined us in this event, if you have anything to say, we can spend at least 2 minutes listening to you. So anybody wishes to say anything? We have Vijay Kumar Joshi sir, Joshi sir, who's been our guru for this event. Sir, would like to say something?
We wish to congratulate Swayam Siddha and Shikha for this endeavor. It has been going continuously, and it's really a pleasure to be a part of this. And one more point I want to add here is that Mr. Panki Sood mentioned about Barasigiri, and I have incidentally worked in Barasigiri in 1968. Then it was really a massive glacier. Anyway, I'll get in touch with him again. And in the meanwhile, I must congratulate all the winners, and hats off to you, Dr. Pradeep Srivastava, for your efforts, and thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. If there's somebody wanted to speak, yes, madam, from Indiranagar. Yes, madam.
May I speak now? Could you please repeat the special category that which you announced earlier? The prize?
Yes.
Name of the please?
Just one second, madam. Jury's special category was had two kids, Ansh Tripathi from class 12, CMS Indiranagar, and the other kid is DAV.
Ansh Tripathi, there is class Indiranagar does not have class 12 actually.
So maybe there may be some mistake in the class. Yeah, so I'll check and come back to you, madam.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for pointing out. I'll just check that and come back to you. So Abhishek ji has been associated with us, especially in this event since the beginning. Abhishek ji, would you like to say anything? Anybody else? Just wait. Augustine or anybody else?
Ma'am, this is Swati here.
Yes,
Okay.
Swati. Yeah, please.
So, ma'am, it was a wonderful experience altogether. Like, environment and climate change is a burning issue where we all are, facing these days. Some event is happening and can see and we can feel it also. So, to my, it was a wonderful event, and I must, it was an enriching experience to all the speakers. In fact, today I heard, and in fact, Mr. Sood, who really talked about, the tourism, which, a lot of negative things are also coming, and we need to be aware, especially the adolescent and the young people who are involved in tourism and, where they are meeting and interacting is going on. So, I had an enriching experience. I think, I am associated with environment, also ESG, I'm taking care of. So, I can implement all the initiatives, taken care by some other organization also in my organization also. So, thank you very much, ma'am, to be to give me the honor to be a part of this event.
Thank you so much, Swati. I wish to ask whether Agnes is still connected to us. Agnes? Because she wanted, Agnes. Yes, Agnes is from Uganda and she's been constantly associated with us and especially for this event. Yes, Agnes.
Thank you very much, Professor. I'm glad to be part of this, and I would like to say I've enjoyed and loved and learned a lot from all that has been shared. Hearing from all the speakers has been wonderful. I've just learned that I should take care of the environment for it to take care of me. Did I even know that rivers have rights? No, I did not. But it has been a lot of learning here, and I thank every presenter, those that have shared their experiences, very touching and a lot to learn from them. And I also thank our participants, the children, for participating in this, and I congratulate the winners. Madam Shika, I'm so happy to see you once again.
Thank you so much, Agnes. Yeah, thank you so much. Is Mayura still connected from Sri Lanka? Mayura?
Yes, madam. Yes. Good afternoon,
hi,
madam,
Mayura.
and all.
Yeah.
So I could fully engage with the session, and thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. And because of this short notice, I always wanted to join this one, and hope this we should make this a global event, because now it's the time that we need to protect our mother nature more than the previous time. So as South Asian and also as the global people, let's get together from our destinations to protect our nature. So thank you so much for everyone for giving us this opportunity to participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayura. Mayura is a civil servant in government of Sri Lanka. So thank you, Mayura, and thank your son to be a part of it. Thanks a lot. So if Abhishek, you would like to say something?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. In fact, I was just on a call. You were previously calling out my name, so I just checked it out. It has been a wonderful experience to be participating in this webinar. It was like a capsule course on environment and sustainability, and listening to such dignitaries who are the subject matter experts in their field. So it has been a wonderful experience, and a very well spent first half of the day, and a lot of motivation to contribute as a corporate, as a member of a corporate. I am working with Indian Oil. So as a corporate also, we are doing a lot of activities, as our ED Estate had spelled out in its address in the beginning of the session. And also we are motivated to have this environment and sustainability goals as individual social responsibility. We are institutionalizing, in fact, the individual social responsibility cause, and this is one of the most apt and appropriate tasks to be taken over by our fellow colleagues and our acquaintances to contribute and pay back to the mother. That is what I thought I should share with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And the last one, because now we're running short of time and people have been.
Dr. Shikha, Augustine Veliath is there.
Yeah, I was just
never
wanting.
forget his contribution.
Yeah, he's been a part of it. So, yeah.
And he's an amazing personality. I think he's so kind of you, sir, for joining us. And we must have to listen something from you. Your blessings, your vast experience, while working in UNICEF and after that.
Augustine, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Yeah.
Okay. Pradeep ji, thank you so much. That's such a warm, such warm words. Thank you so much. Shikha, this is my annual coming home, and I've been so happy and proud to be here. And all the speakers were world class, and I know them all. And every year I look forward to this day to listen to Vikram Singh ji and to Garg Saab, and of course those fabulous visuals that Pradeep ji puts up. And also each time I hear Ashima Singh ji, I remember the stay in the place, and that. But today belonged to Venkatesh ji, Professor Venkatesh, and you know what he has incited in me is, I live now about a kilometer away from a fabulous but furious river, a mountain river. So I have taken this decision to go and meet the river. I always knew that all rivers are rich because they own two banks. And so today, but I will be seeing this river in a new perspective, thanks to Professor Venkatesh. And it was a mind-blowing presentation. I must congratulate him. I must appreciate, everything he said. And I've taken profuse notes, so I will be using them. And of course, my friend from Himachal, I live in a very similar area here in Munnar, environmentally vulnerable, but at the same time, a very rich place. And I welcome all of you to, if you're ever visiting Munnar, let me know. It's an amazing place. It was an amazing decision for me to return home and settle down here, and I regretted it. And thank you very much. Thanks for informing me of this. And I've been here from the day, from the first moment till now, I'm here. And I loved and enjoyed every presentation. And Shika, especially, it's always a pleasure seeing you. And whenever you mention your father, what I remember is, we three have traveled together. In fact, your father and I have traveled together to support what you are doing. So that was an amazing memory for us and for me especially. And thank you very much and all the best to you, to your family, and to Swayam Siddha.
Thank you so
I
much.
think he's amazing person. I tell is to a very small incident. 35 years back, he told me his landline number, and still I remember it. 35 and that number, if I am wrong, correct me. 24 Allah 8 247861. That was his landline number.
Yes.
He was living in Aligarh that time.
Pradeepji, I will tell you, Pradeepji, I will tell you something more. If you ever want to, I also have a house in Delhi, as you know. And if you ever want to my house, you remember this number. It is 8030. In Hindi, you say in Hindi you say Ati Thi, but in Punjabi we say Asi Tusi.
Thank you so much. So I think today it was a special day. एक पेड़ पिता के नाम, जहाँ प्रधानमंत्री जी का नारा था एक पेड़ माँ के नाम, तो आज का एक रेजोल्यूशन हम सब लें, एक पेड़ पिता के नाम. That means plant a tree in the name of your father.
Sure.
So thank you so much, Dr. Shikha Tripathi. Please continue.
Thank you, Dr. Saab, and thank you, Augustine. And if Anilji, that's the last one because we already have, ran against the time duration that we had. Anilji is there. Anil Shuklaji has been always there in every event. So I just want to check whether he's there. If he's not there, then I come to the conclusion. I know it's, I can't thank all of you enough. My words get totally, I run short of vocabulary. But still, I would fully acknowledge and express my gratitude to each and everybody who's been a part of this event, especially Dr. Vikram Singh, V.N. Garg sir, Ma'am Ashima Singh, Rajesh Singh ji, who is ED, IOCL, Dr. Venkatesh Datta, Pinky Sood, Punky Sood, our entire senior management team of IOCL and other friends from IOCL, the gurus are Sir V.K. Joshi sir, Mathur sir, who has not been well, but he's never missed a single event and is still with us. Thank you so much, sir. And our Dr. Pradeep Srivastava, without whom probably the entire event would be, would not be as encapsulating, as enchanting as it becomes, very enriching. All these schools, I'm grateful. I express my gratitude to them. And the mentoring teachers, all the students who have participated, who have been there as an audience to this. Then our friends from India and abroad, especially the ones who have been all through attending since 2008. Dipendra Kumar, who is my colleague and who spent time to pray for this event. I especially would like to, at the end, share with all of you our Swayam Siddha team. So our Swayam Siddha team is very few members who would make this happen as the core members who implement things, but they're the best members who make things absolutely as miraculous. So Rajiv Agrawal, who is not here right now, but he's been constantly there doing everything as a very, very core team member. Rajiv, are you there? Just show up in case you're connected. He's not here. He's in Netherlands. Then we have Dr. R.R. Sinha. Dr. R.R. Sinha, if you can show your video so people see who you are. In case if you can, we have friend Parul Gurja, a young girl who's been a part of this. Jayadeep, who's again a young boy who's facilitated many technology-related things which I was not otherwise able to do. Amitendra Singh and Gaurav. So these are core team members who have made this happen. So everybody, I thank profusely to be a part of it. And from 10:30 we started, it's going to be 1:10. It's not easy for people to spare so much of time, but you all did it. I know how much you value this event and how much you value the emotion behind it. I look forward to seeing you again in this event next year with much more vigor, with much more creativity, and with higher participation from across the board as well. So thank you, and best wishes to everybody. Thanks, everyone. So I close the meeting with this. Thank you. Thank you, Punky. You've been absolutely great. And I'm so grateful to you that you participated and you made such a fantastic presentation. Thanks, everybody.